Srila Prabhupada, he was giving a class, and before he gave the class, he asked all the devotees, please pray that this class goes well, so we all are able to experience Krishna consciousness in this class. So he started giving the class, and then towards the end of the class, he asked some of the brahmacharis in San Diego, raise your hand if you actually prayed for me. And a number of devotees raised their hands, but a number of them didn't raise their hand. They didn't pray for him. And then he kind of, he chided us, he chastised us, and he said, you said you were going to pray for me, so, please pray. So, if you could pray for me, that'd be very nice. There's one, I visited Guyana. Anyone went to Guyana before? Suriname, Guyana. It's like maybe some of you are familiar, maybe all of you are familiar, but it's like the top part of South America, the eastern side. Anyways, there's a devotee there, Guyana, named Sanjay, and a very nice devotee. And when I left, he said, I will chant one extra round for you. So that means 17 rounds he would chant. I'll chant one extra round for you until you take sannyas. So I thought that was very nice. He was praying for me, So, that's one thing. So it's nice to pray for each other, actually. We could pray for each other. And Srila Prabhupada did that. He prayed for people. Actually, there's one time where a disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, can you please pray for me? And Srila Prabhupada said, you should understand that that is my only business. I'm simply praying for you. And a number of disciples, they noted, or they were told by Srila Prabhupada in a letter that when I met you, I saw that you were a very good soul, and I prayed to Krishna, please help this person understand the importance of Krishna consciousness. So sometimes Srila Prabhupada would meet people, and he would pray for them, so that they would understand Krishna consciousness. So it's nice to pray for each other. It's very important. Very important. I've traveled a number of places throughout the world, and I could say this is a very creative altar here. Nice. The devotees surrounding Radha Shama Sundar. How did they do that? Do you know how they did that?
Like you can buy them.
Really?
Yeah.
But they look like they have tilak on.
Yes. That's how
they come?
Yeah, that's how.
And they look like they have shikas too.
Yes. And they like different instruments.
Wow, they're like brahmacharis. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Never saw those before. All right, so we'll just chant Jaya Radha Madhava, and then we could read a verse from the Bhagavatam. Nice to see you again. We saw each other spontaneously in Govardhan some months ago. Now we're seeing each other spontaneously in Portland. So, nice to see you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopikana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava read a verse from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Does anyone know what the 5th canto is famous for? Prahlad Maharaj, that's true. Any other famous things that you could think of it's famous for?
Descriptions of the hellish planets.
Yeah, exactly. Descriptions of the hellish planets. So we won't read about the descriptions of the hellish planets. I think you are all above that, or too pious for that to hear that tonight. Of course, it's transcendental, the descriptions of the hellish planets, but we will read a verse from chapter 19, the island of Jambudvip. So 519, text 7. So, should we chant together? Okay. Looks like a number of people have it on their phones, or they could share it with others. 519:7. Okay. Na janmanu na mahato na saubhagam. Nirvana buddhir nakritis tusho hetu. Taryad visrishtan apino vanau kashas. Chikara sakye bata lakshmana Na janmanu na mahato na saubhagam. Nirvana buddhir nakritish tusho hetu. Taryad visrishtan apina vanau kasash. Chikara sakye bata lakshmana Please chant.
Na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam. Navana buddhir nakriti stosha hetu. Taired vishishthana pinavanokasa. Chakara sakye bata lakshmanagrajaha.
Na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam. Navana buddhir nakritishta sahitu. Taye yad vishtana pinavanakashash. Chakara shakti bata lakshmanagrajaha.
Na janmanunam mahato na saubhagam. Navana buddhir nakritisto hetu. Yadvirishthana pino vanakshashas. Chakara sakye bata lakshmanagraja.
Anyone else like to chant?
Janmanunam mahato na saubhagam. Navana buddhir nakritishta sahitu. Taryad vishrishthana pinavanokasas. Chakara
All right. Please repeat. Na, not. Janma, birth, in a very polished aristocratic family. Nunam, indeed. Mahataha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na, nor. Saubhagam, great fortune. Na, nor. Vak, an intelligent manner of speaking. Excuse me. An elegant manner of speaking. Na, nor. Buddhihi, sharpness of intelligence. Na, not. Akritihi, features of the body. Toshahetuhu, the cause of pleasure to the Lord. Tai, by all those above mentioned qualities. Yet, because. Visishtan, rejected. Api, although. Aha, us. Vana Okashaha, inhabitants of the forest. Kara, accepted. Sakye, in friendship. Bata, alas. Lakshana Agrajaha, Lord Shri Ramachandra, elder brother of Lakshmana. Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities, such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramchandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. So please repeat after me, please. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramchandra on the basis of material qualities, such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramchandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. Does anyone remember who's saying this? Or you could guess. Hanuman, yes. Hanuman is praying. There's a few prayers he offers here in the 5th canto, so this is one of them. Okay, purport. In a prayer to Krishna, expressing her feelings, Srimati Kunti Devi called him a Kinchana Gochara. The prefix means not, in Kinchana, something of this material world. One may be very proud of his prestigious position, material wealth, beauty, education, and so on. But although these are certainly good qualifications in material dealings, they are not necessary for achieving friendship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who possesses all these material qualities is expected to become a devotee. And when he actually does, the qualities are properly utilized. Those who are puffed up by a high birth, wealth, education, and personal beauty, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shri, unfortunately do not care for developing Krishna consciousness, nor does the Supreme Personality of Godhead care about all these material qualifications. The Supreme Lord is achieved by devotion. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One's devotion and sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. Rupa Goswami has also said that the price for achieving God's favor is simply one's sincere eagerness to have it. Laulyam ekam mulyam. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is said, Kula Vicha Seva Kara Deki Bhagya Singha Brahma Shiva Kande Yar Dekiya Mahima. Dane Jana Panditye Krishna Nahi Pai Kevala Bhaktatira Vasha Chaitanya Gosai. Behold the great fortune of the devotee Kula Vecha. Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by any amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled only by pure devotion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very sincere devotee whose name was Kulavecha Sridhar, and whose only business was to sell pots made of the skin of banana trees. Whatever income he had, he used 50% for the worship of Mother Ganges, and with the other 50% he provided for his necessities. On the whole, he was so very poor that he lived in a cottage that had a broken roof with many holes in it. He could not afford brass utensils, and therefore he drank water from an iron pot. Nevertheless, he was a great devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a typical example of how a poor man with no material possessions can become a most exalted devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one cannot attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Goswami through material opulence. That shelter is attainable only by pure devotional service. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadinavritam anukulyena krishnanu shivanam bhakti uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Om Ganitavarandasya Gananchana Shlakaya Chakshulanmaditam Vena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karigavachalam Pungam Mangai Teginam Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitarinam Vacha Kapadubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, so just once again, we'll read the verse. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramchandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth, an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. Can anyone think of some examples in the Bhagavatam of devotees who do not have any real material qualifications, but devotion? Can anyone think of some examples? There's a number of examples. Kubja, okay, very good. Kubja, Sudama. Anyone else? Who's it?
Sabri.
Okay, yes. Anyone else? Gopis. Okay. Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, that's true. Anyone else? Nard. Who's it? Yes, Narada Muni. Yes, as a maid, as a son of a maid servant in his early days. That's true. Kolavecha Sridhar. Yes. Anyone else you could think of?
The boatman Guha,
Boatman.
who helps Lord Rama cross that
Yes. Okay.
Guha.
Thank you. Anyone else from the Bhagavatam you could think of? And what was his disqualification? Yeah, like material disqualification.
He had no formal education.
Yes, okay, that's true. He had no formal education. Sure, the parents won't like that one, right? Yeah, so there's a number of examples. Kubja. So where was Kubja's beauty? She was not very beautiful, hunchback, and Krishna came and he straightened her out. He put his foot on, I believe he put his foot on her feet, and then he kind of pushed her chin up, and she became straight and beautiful. So where was Kubja's beauty? That's one. Where was also Vidura? Say, where was Vidura's high birth? He was born as from the womb of Shudrani. Where was his high birth? You have Sudama. Where was Sudama's wealth? He was very poor. You have what about Ugrasena? Ugrasena, he was a ruler. That's what he did. But he was conquered by Kamsa, so he lost. He wasn't. Where was his? How do you say that word? Yeah, silver. Yeah, that word. So you have, and what about Gajendra? Where was Gajendra's knowledge? He was an elephant. He was covered over. He was an elephant. That body. And then Dhruva. Where was his maturity? In the beginning, he wasn't very mature. He was going out to the forest to search for God, not out of pure devotion, but he was going to search for God to get revenge. So it's not very mature. Where was his maturity? So then this verse, it's from Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, explains that Madhava, or Krishna, he is not pleased by material qualifications, but he's only pleased by devotion. So we see that it's not so easy to capture Krishna. It's not so easy to impress Krishna. We may impress so many people with our beauty or our wealth or our good birth or whatever it may be.
Pleasing talk, but talking nicely.
Yeah, okay. We might impress people with our eloquent speaking. But Krishna, he's not pleased by these things in and of themselves. Now, of course, Srila Prabhupada says if we use these for devotional service, that's another thing. That's the idea. Whatever we have, we should try to use in devotional service, in Krishna consciousness. And that is the success of our those particular qualities. Um, and we see that in this world, people, they have these qualities, but as Queen Kunti is praying, they tend to become bewildered by these qualities. Janma Shvara Shuta Shri Bir, they become bewildered. They tend to forget about God realization, about Krishna, and they tend to focus on these opulences. Srila Prabhupada said that he was tested two ways in his life. One was in India before he came to America. He said, Krishna, he took everything away. So that's a test. If everything's taken away. Therefore, one of Krishna's name is Hari, one who takes everything away. Sometimes people are scared to worship Krishna because of that. It actually mentions that later in the Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. Krishna says that when he has special mercy on someone, he takes everything away. One person, he was reading that in the San Diego gift shop, and he was quite shocked. And he said, we can't let anybody read this. They shouldn't find out about this. So sometimes it happens. So everything was taken away. So Srila Prabhupada said he was tested in that way. At one particular point, he said that he had to make a decision whether he was going to eat breakfast or whether he was going to print his books. He didn't have any money. And also he was wearing ripped dhotis, ripped kurtas. He couldn't afford buying new kurtas and dhotis. So everything was taken away. His family, his business, everything was taken away. So he said he was tested like that. And then when he came to America and then traveled all over the world, he said Krishna tested him in another way. He said, Krishna, he gave everything to me. And this was a test. One is to have Krishna take everything, and another one is to have Krishna give us everything. But because Srila Prabhupada was always absorbed in pure devotional service, Krishna consciousness, he passed both of these tests. It's not that when things went bad or when things didn't work out, he wasn't thinking of Krishna, he was thinking of Krishna. And it's not that when things went good, when he had many temples, and everything was going on nicely, that he forgot Krishna. He was always remembering Krishna. Like, for example, he gave the example that at least at a particular time in India, if an Indian family had like a white or like a British servant, for the household or whatever, that was considered very, like, you were very successful, very wealthy. You could hire a British white servant, So Srila Prabhupada was a bit joking, but he said that, yes, I have temples all over the world, and I have, in each temple, there's so many vehicles, in each temple, because he was talking about London and this place and that place, and Australia and all these places, all of Srila Prabhupada's American disciples and so on. And he said, I have so many of these, my disciples, and they're ready to serve. So, but we see that Srila Prabhupada, he was not bewildered by that at all. Srila Prabhupada, he acquired the Fisher Mansion in Detroit. Has anyone been there? To the Detroit ISKCON Temple? Yes. 1, 2, 3. Anyone else been to the Detroit ISKCON Temple? Okay. Not so many, huh? All right, we know where we're going to go on our field trip. Portland to Detroit. It's kind of a long ways, but you could take a bus out there, fly out there. But it's a very beautiful property. I mean, it is like very beautiful property. Fisher Mansion. It's a real mansion. And Srila Prabhupada went there and he spoke with the owner of this mansion. And first Srila Prabhupada just said, "You should just give it to us. We are swamis. We're doing good things. Just give it to us." And the person probably almost had a heart attack. Sometimes devotees try to do that. Like, just a little bit of a side note. We're getting new doors in San Diego. They want to get kind of more fancy doors for the temple, and kind of expensive. Things are very expensive nowadays. So I went with one devotee, Vijay Prabhu, and Vijay told me, "You should go to this man and say, 'Can you give us these doors for free?'" So we were driving together, and I agreed. I had agreed. I just said, "Okay, fine, whatever. I don't mind." The guy's probably going to say no, but I don't mind. So we're driving there, and then I tell Vijay, I'm like, I'm okay, like, asking this guy, but you're older, and he's kind of more in your age range, so I think it might be better if you do it. So he agreed to it, Vijay. So anyways, we went there and he asked, and the guy said no. He said, I work with many churches, and you could ask your congregation and this and that. So, but Prabhupada, he tried to ask for it for free. So they didn't get it for free, but they got a very good deal. Like a very good deal. And Ambarish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, helped purchase that property in Detroit. So, so later, the man, he kind of like realized what he did, and he went back to the different rooms, and he was trying to take off things off the wall, and try to save some of his money, get some of his money back. And Srila Prabhupada said that what we paid for this whole mansion, one room is worth what we paid for this whole mansion. So they really got a good deal. It's a beautiful place. But when Srila Prabhupada got that mansion, it's not that he said, "Okay, now I'm here and I'm just going to stay here and I have so many disciples and they're going to take care of me." But Srila Prabhupada left the next day, going to Africa or wherever he was going, traveling and giving Krishna consciousness. So he wasn't bewildered by the material opulence. That's the idea. Just like you have Sudama, Brahman in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, very poor. But then Krishna, he gave him everything. But he was not bewildered by that. He was still a pure devotee of Krishna. He used everything in Krishna's service. So you have these different devotees that we're talking about, Sudama and Kubja, Gajendra, Dhruva. So they were all materially disqualified. So it's not that if we have these things, they are evil in and of themselves. It's not that we have to become bewildered by these things. There's a tendency to, but we could use all of this in Krishna's service, and that's the trick, to try to use all of these things in Krishna's service. Yeah. And what is the price? Everything has a price, right? When's Kartik coming? Not for some time, right? What is it? April, May, June, July, August. It's quite some time away. But Kartik is a special time in which special mercy is attained. It's like a sale. Like, for example, let's say There's some famous store that people like. They have Nordstrom's here. I'm sure they do. So Nordstrom's is, much better than Walmart, for example. No offense towards Walmart. Um, but there's better quality things at Nordstrom's. Clothes, jewelry, so many different things. So if there was a sale at Nordstrom's, 90% off, you'd have a big line out the door, Or like on Black Friday, people still probably go to the stores and line up. They still do that, right? Line up outside of the stores on Black Friday, try to get a good deal on a TV or a laptop or whatever. So during Kartik and actually any appearance day of a great personality like Ramchandra or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or so many Vaishnava holidays, these are actually times in which Krishna's mercy, you could say, is like on a sale. There's a special opportunity to get this. But there's a particular price we have to pay. And what is that price? Does anyone remember?
Loving.
Yes. And what does that mean?
Greed.
Yes, greed. We have to have greed for Krishna consciousness. So just like someone has greed to go get a laptop or go get some very good jewelry on sale or whatever, there's some greed there. We want that. So similarly, we have to have that greed for Krishna consciousness. And how do we get that greed for Krishna consciousness? Yes, sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shashtra koi, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. Just a fraction of a moment of association can we can attain all perfection. Just a slight association with a sadhu, with a saintly person. So we have to get that greed. So the Bhagavatam, the first canto says, Shu Shu Sho Shradanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchihi Syan Mahat Sevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nashevana. So it says, by serving great souls, great service is done, and one gains the taste for hearing the messages of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that we get the qualities, we obtain the qualities of those we serve. So if we serve worldly people, evil-minded people, then we get their qualities. If we mix with them, we get their qualities. It's just natural. We're affected. Just like today, I was flying from Boise, too early in the morning for me to travel, and I saw this little girl. She seemed innocent enough. Generally, little girls seem pretty innocent. She was probably like 8 years old or something like that. But she was holding a gun. And, I mean, not a real gun, but it was like a game in the airport. So she's holding this big gun. It's like a big rifle she was holding. Some young American girl holding this big rifle. And I looked at the screen, and it said, it's very unfortunate, actually. I could pray for her right now, but hopefully she comes to Krishna consciousness. But the game was called Shoot the Boar, and then there's a video game. There's a boar, pigs. They're jumping by, and she's trying to shoot the boar on the screen. But she's just a young girl, and she doesn't know any better, and her parents aren't teaching her, and they're also ignorant. And just that bad association, she just picks up things. That's what happens. And you see devotee children, it's quite interesting. I remember I was traveling on a plane one time, and this devotee, this young boy, Vaishnav parents, the boy, he had like a little cow, it's like stuffed animal cow, and I forgot there was some like sharp tool or something. He had something sharp, but he didn't even want to put that on the cow. Some sharp object on the cow. He was saying, no, it's my little cow. So, in other words, from the very beginning, he was being taught how to be sensitive, how to think properly. Um, so, when we associate with devotees, when we serve devotees, we get their qualities. And the main quality that a pure devotee has is that they are attached to Krishna, completely attached to Krishna. They cannot live without Krishna. It's not that there's an option, should I think of Krishna today or should I not think of Krishna today? They can't not but think of Krishna. They're always thinking of Krishna. And we see that this is specifically demonstrated in the life of Narada Muni as a son of a maidservant. Does anyone remember Narada Muni? Because he's Narada Muni, and then his last life, he was a son of a maidservant. Does anyone remember his life before that? What is it? What is it? I can't see who's speaking. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, he was a Gandharva. This is in the 7th canto. He was a Gandharva, and he was singing very beautifully. This is what the Gandharvas do, they sing very beautifully. But he was praising, he should have been praising Krishna, but he was praising demigods in the assembly. And the others there, they cursed him. And they say, may you take birth from a maidservant, low birth. So he was cursed. So he became the son of a maidservant, and in the 4 months of Chaturmasya, when the sages stopped traveling because of the rainy season, they all stopped there at his home, and his mother, a simple mother, was serving them, cooking for them, washing the clothes, simple service. And then, but he was there, the boy was there, and he was listening to them, listening to all the songs about Krishna, the Bhagavatam. He was taking the remnants of food from their plate. And in this way, he became Krishna conscious. And his mother, at one particular point, she got bit by a snake and she died. And he just went walking, and he actually got darshan of Krishna. And it said that he got darshan of Krishna, but because there was a slight attachment he had. Does anyone remember what he had attachment to? He had what is it? As a son of a maidservant, he had another attachment. He had attachment to the sattvic nature of the forest. Very interesting. It's like pretty good attachment, right? Not that bad, but he had a slight attachment to that sattvic nature of the forest, and because of that, he wasn't fully there in a sense. But in his next life, he became Narada Muni. So we see the progression there. So if we closely associate with devotees, then we will be successful. That's the idea. All right, then you have Kolavetra Sridhar. So Kolavetra Sridhar was such a humble devotee. No one knew about him, actually. He was just like unknown. He would be crying very loud, chanting Hare Krishna, in his little hut. And the people and the neighbors, they thought, oh, this person must be hungry. That's why he's crying. But he was chanting Krishna's names. It says he was such a great personality that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, upon seeing his devotion, they would cry. I mean, you have to be pretty devotional to have Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, when they see you, they start crying. Like, wow, this person's so devotional. And then you need Shiva, there's tears coming down his eyes, or his cheeks. So Kulavechra Sridhar was such an advanced personality. And what he would do, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a young boy, he would come try to haggle Kulavechra Sridhar for his banana leaf plates and his cups. So how much can you sell banana leaf plates for? I mean, they're pretty cheap things. But still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would try to cut the price down. So they would kind of argue like that. So this was their relationship. He's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Kulavechra Sridhar. This is their loving relationship. So, and interesting enough, although he was doing this, he was selling these banana leaf plates and these cups. And whatever money he would make, he would give 50% to the worship of the Ganga. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, and therefore he was living in such a poor state. So such a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having his Mahaprakash, the Mahaprakash was the time where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was revealing his godhood. Generally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when they would call him Vishnu, he would block his ears, because that wasn't his mood. He was a devotee in the mood of Srimati Radharani, right? Golden complexion like Srimati Radharani, and in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he didn't want to hear that he was Krishna. But this time, for 21 hours straight, he sat on the altar, and he brought devotees up, and he said, "What do you want? What do you want?" So the devotees would say different things. We'll get to Kulavechra Sridhar in a minute, but we could go over Murari Gupta and Haridas Thakur, and then we could go to Kulavechra Sridhar. So Murari Gupta, I mean, one of the things that the main things that they're asking for is pure devotional service, to always be able to serve Krishna. But Murari Gupta, he in his last life he was actually Hanuman, and in the life in Chaitanya Leela he was Murari Gupta. So while he was there in this Mahaprakash, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started to change complexion, like a greenish complexion, like Lord Ramachandra. And then the surrounding room started to turn into the forest. And there was monkey soldiers on the four corners. And Murari Gupta actually started developing a tail, like Hanuman. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you're Hanuman, and there's a whole pastime going on. With Haridas Thakur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur, he started to speak with Haridas Thakur, and he told Haridas Thakur that, yes, recently, when you were brought to those 21 marketplaces, and you were beat by the Muslims, they're trying to beat him to death, because they told him, you give up chanting Hare Krishna or we're going to kill you. And he said, you could cut my body into millions of pieces, still I won't give up the chanting of Hare Krishna. So the ruler at the time said, okay, kill him. Put him to death. So they put him in 21 marketplaces. most people, they would die in the first marketplace. But he wasn't dying. And then Haridas Thakur, these soldiers told him that they seemed a little worried. And then Haridas Thakur said, "Oh, am I causing you anxiety?" And then the soldier said, "Yes. If you don't die, then we're going to go back to our ruler, and he's going to kill us." So Haridas Thakur said, "Okay, I'll die." And then he went into this mystic trance, as if he was dead. And these soldiers asked their ruler, "What do we do with his body?" And the ruler said, "Don't bury it, because it will become a place of pilgrimage. Throw it in the river." So they threw Haridas Thakur in the river, and he was floating down there. And then he woke up, and he started chanting, and went out of the river and continued chanting Hare Krishna. And from that, the ruler had severe reactions, as well as the whole village. So in the Mahaprakash, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relaying this to Haridas Thakur. And he said, "When I saw those people beating you, I was going to send my chakra there and kill them. But because you were praying for them, my chakra was powerless." So in other words, Haridas Thakur, while he was getting beaten, they were trying to kill him. He was praying for them, for their benefit. It's just absolutely amazing. Sometimes people offend us, or whatever, and kind of hold a grudge or something like that. But Haridas Thakur, they're trying to kill him, and still he was praying for them. It's really amazing. This is the heart of a Vaishnav. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, he took off his chadar, and then he showed Haridas Thakur his back. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's back, there was all these marks. So he said, I was taking these beatings for you. So he asked Haridas Thakur, "What do you want?" And Haridas Thakur asked for a very humble thing. He said he just wants pure devotion, and he said, "I just want to be able to associate with your devotees and serve them and take their remnants. So that's all I want, just your devotee association." So then you have Kolavetra Sridhar. So Kolavetra Sridhar, okay, one more before Kolavetra Sridhar. You have Mukunda. So Mukunda, he had a tendency to mix with different crowds. Sometimes he would mix with the Mayavadis, sometimes he would mix with this crowd, that crowd, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't like it. He wanted the devotees just to stay. He didn't want them to associate with offensive people. So he told Mukunda, because Mukunda wanted to see him in this Mahaprakash, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told one of the devotees, "Tell Mukunda that he cannot come see me, and actually he can't come see me for another, I think it was 10 million births. Tell him that." So the devotees go tell him that, and what did Mukunda do? He started dancing. And he was saying, eventually I will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he wasn't thinking, "Oh, it's so long, but he was saying, eventually I'll see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." So this demonstrates patience, that a devotee is very patient. They're willing to wait, not be impatient. All right, so Kolavetra Sridhar, this is the last one with the Mahaprakash, but Kolavetra Sridhar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, go find Kolavetra Sridhar. And then the devotee said, "Who's Kolavetra Sridhar?" No one knew who he was. He's just out there on the outskirts of Navadvip, just chanting. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "If you go to the outskirts of Navadvip, you will see you will hear Kolavetra Sridhar loudly chanting. So you could come and bring him here. So Kolavetra Sridhar came, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, what benediction do you want? And then Kolavetra Sridhar said, I just want that one young boy by the name of Nimai Pandit. I just wish that he comes and he haggles me for these banana leaves. And we have this loving relationship. He said, that's all I want. That was his particular desire. So if we analyze all of these great Vaishnavas, they just want to have this loving relationship with Krishna and the devotees. So that's the idea. That's the goal. The goal is pure devotion. Anyabhilashita shunyam. So we want to awaken that pure devotion. And it may seem very far away. Maybe it seems very far away. But at least we should know the ideal, and we should hold it above our heads, and we should try to strive for that and never discard the ideal because it's too high. We should always try to understand the ideal, keep it above our heads, and try to strive for that. Never discard it as impossible or something like that. So, yes, Ramachandra, Hanuman here, he's praying. He's saying, I don't have any qualifications. But Ramchandra is very merciful, and on the basis of devotion, we have this wonderful relationship. So this is one of the prayers of Ramchandra. Of Hanuman. There's a few other prayers here too, but let me just look at that one. So does anybody have any question or comment? Or anything? Yes.
So we are just reflecting, Laulyam or hankering for Lord's mercy is one element. And then we also went through, how out of our earnings, 50%, we have to give. But I think the fundamental propensity should be towards developing distaste for the material world, right? And at least, I can speak for myself, but going towards vanaprastha and, having distaste for material world and to develop the hankering and so on. And seeing you who already developed distaste for the material life and, proceeding towards your, brahmacharya ashram, I feel so happy for you. We will pray for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, naturally, if we get something better, then we're able to give up other things. Like, if I was to, if somehow or other you had the option of having a piece of bread, Wonder Bread. You know Wonder Bread? You want to know Wonder Bread? Yeah, they sell that all around. Apparently, that's one of the most disliked bread in the United States. Wonder Bread. People kind of take it as a little cheap and this and that. But let's say you had some Wonder Bread, but it was old, stale Wonder Bread. Now, if that's all we had, then okay, we have to try to satisfy our hunger or something. But if someone makes you some fresh paratas or something, whatever type of paratha you like, cauliflower paratha or paneer paratha or aloo paratha with some nice chutney or yogurt or whatever, then naturally, so yeah, forget about that Wonder Bread. We have the paratha, right? So yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that realization that Krishna consciousness is the real, the real prata. Krishna consciousness is the real thing, and the other things are not so real, or important. It doesn't mean that we don't have. It doesn't mean we neglect our family or these things, but that we're just Krishna conscious. So, yeah. But it is important to go towards Vanaprastha ashram. Yeah, that's important to try to wind things up, try to retire and dedicate oneself fully to Krishna consciousness for those, in that age range. So there's a time for that too. Okay, does anybody have any other question or comment or reflection? Yes.
I think you brought up a very you brought a very good point about pray for someone. So I just want to know, so what is the best prayer for someone? And I also feel sometimes prayers are powerful, but are all the prayers accepted? Maybe not. And when devotees say, please pray for me, like, I think I'm just curious what should we pray and are they going to be accepted or only the prayers of elevated folks are going to be accepted?
Yeah. Well, yes, prayers are important, and there's a certain way we should pray. That's true. Sometimes people they ask, "Yeah, can you pray for me?" And one devotee, he would ask them, "Sure. What do you want me to pray for?" And sometimes people are a little surprised, like, "Oh, okay. I've never had anybody ask me that before." Um, So somebody asked me recently, "Can you bless my daughter?" And I said, "Well, what do you want for your daughter?" And she said, "Well, good education, and be a good girl, and things like that." And I said, "In Krishna consciousness, right?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." Um, so it is good to ask people, "What do you want? What do you want us to pray for?" I mean, they do this in Christian churches. They do it a lot, actually. What they do is a lot of the times at every church event, there's like a card there, and it says, "What do you want us to pray for?" And then the people will write whatever it is. Um, so, but we are all souls. We are all connected to Krishna. Mamaya Bhangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Buddha Sanatana. We're all intimately connected to Krishna. So if we pray to Krishna, then Krishna will respond. But the value of asking a advanced Vaishnav to pray for us is that although we're all intimately connected to Krishna, advanced Vaishnav, they have realized that and they're acting on that. And because they've realized that and are acting on that platform, we could say that Krishna takes that prayer more seriously, actually. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in one place, it's quoted in the Chaitanya Bhagavat in a purport and a commentary. He says that I will go to an advanced Vaishnava with straw in my teeth. It's a sign of humility. With straw in my teeth, and I will offer my obeisances to this Vaishnava, and I will cry before them, and I will tell them of my fallen state. Means my fallen state of forgetting Krishna. I can't remember Krishna. And the Vaishnava, seeing this, will have mercy on me, and they will pray to Krishna, and Krishna will fulfill those prayers and help me. So that is the value of approaching advanced Vaishnavas, to ask them to pray for us, that Krishna takes it more seriously. Just like sometimes people have children. Who does not have children here? 1, 2, 3, few. Okay. So a lot of people have children here, it seems. So those of you who have children, you understand when the child is seriously crying. Sometimes the child just cries, oh, just crying, and you could kind of say, oh, it's not so serious. I'll be there in a minute. But sometimes the child really cries, and it's like a real cry for help. And then the parent will immediately show up there. So that's the idea that we have to cry out to Krishna, and Krishna will help. But he understands what's the level of the cry. He understands that. Just like a parrot may be taught to chant Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada gives this example. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I know a devotee has a parrot. The parrot chants Hare Krishna. And Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, Shukadeva Goswami. But he has a parrot. But when a cat comes to after the parrot, then the parrot just squawks. So Srila Prabhupada gave an example, said we shouldn't be like that. That when danger comes, we don't call it Krishna. So yeah, those are some points. We should approach Vaishnavas and ourselves. We should try to pray sincerely. But there's also all types of wonderful prayers in the Bhagavatam. For example, this is a very beautiful prayer I'll share with you. This is from Prahlad Maharaj. Short prayer. He says, may there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. So he's praying for everyone, actually. This is like a prayer. This is like the original prayer for world peace, you could say, coming from Prahlad Maharaj. He's praying, may all the envious people become pacified. May all of these people become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. And by this, they will think of the welfare of others. That's the problem in the world. People aren't thinking of the welfare of others. So there's prayers like this. There's many prayers in the Bhagavatam. Also, you have this very famous prayer here, one more from Prahlad Maharaj. He says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails, and teeth, just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activities in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. That's another prayer by Prahlad Maharaj. So, yeah, we should try to read those prayers and recite them. That's very helpful. Any other question, comment?
We are grateful to Rahul and Prat and his wife for organizing this devotional lecture today.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we're grateful. Yeah, it was quite spontaneous. Jai Satchidananda Prabhu I reached out to, and then he reached out.
His wife is Richa.
Yeah, Richa, and it was quite spontaneous. Rahul, they accepted. So yeah, thank you all for coming. So last minute. So all right, if there's no other last question or comment, then we could continue. So thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Balaram Prabhu ki jai. So just some informal announcements. Temple email has already gone out with the upcoming programs. So on